Today we are going to introduce you to a new topic in trigonometry, that is trigonometric equations. Like you get equation in x and y, here instead of x and y you will be having t ratios as the variables. For example, if I say sine x is equal to 0, which I have written on top this side, or I say cos square x minus sine x is equal to 1 by 4, or sine theta plus pi by 4 is equal to 1 upon 2. These are all examples. There can be many more examples of trigonometric equations where the variables are trigonometric functions, where the variables are trigonometric functions or ratios, cos, sine, tan, whatever it is there. They can be in the quadratic form also, they can be in simple form also. So today we are going to do some work on trigonometric equations. Before that, I want to revise a little bit again about the values of trigonometric functions. You know, these are axes which we draw, y dash, add sugar to coffee, all values, all t ratios in first quadrant are positive, only sine and cosec are positive in the second quadrant, the rest are negative, tan and cot are positive in the third quadrant, rest are negative. In the fourth quadrant, cos and sec are positive, the rest are negative. Now the question is, along the x-axis I have 0, 2 pi, let us say plus minus 2 pi, plus minus 4 pi, plus minus 6 pi, and so on. If I come to this side, starting from here, initial line is this. Suppose there was initial line here and it keeps moving anti-clockwise because that is conventionally taken as the positive direction. When it moves to this direction and comes here, what are the values which we are going to get here? We'll get pi plus minus pi. Of course, if you come anti-clockwise you get plus pi, if you come clockwise you will get negative pi. So plus minus 3 pi, plus minus 5 pi, plus minus 7 pi, and so on. What is the difference on this? On the positive side of the x-axis, on the positive direction of x-axis, on the positive x-axis, what do I get? I get the even multiples of pi. We get even multiples of pi, like I get 0, I get 2 pi, I get plus minus of course, 4 pi, plus minus 6 pi, plus minus 8 pi, and so on. That means I get 2n pi. In general I get 2n pi, where n belongs to set of integers. N belongs to set of integers, that is how you get plus and minus both. So on this side I get plus minus 2n pi. On this side, on the negative side, on the negative x-axis, what do I get? I get the value as plus minus pi, depending upon that rotation is taken clockwise or anti-clockwise. Depending upon the rotation you are going clockwise or anti-clockwise, plus minus 3 pi, plus minus 5 pi, plus minus 7 pi, and so on. That means you are getting 2n plus 1 pi, or you can write even 2n minus 1 pi. Both are odd multiples. Whether it is 2n plus, whether you add 1 to an even number, you will get an odd number. Whether you subtract 1 from an even number, you will get an odd number. So along this, you get n belongs to I. And when we combine these together, we told you, we discussed this, because along this x-axis or negative x-axis, suppose we combine them together, then we get n pi, where n belongs to set of integers. Suppose n is 1, you get pi. If n is 0, you get 0. If n is 2, you will get 2 pi, which will come here. And if you get n minus 2, then minus 2 pi. Suppose n is 3, you will get n 3 pi plus minus. If n is 4, you will get that side. So in general, on x-axis, whether you are on the positive side, whether you are on the negative side, in general you will get n pi. So the first equation which we are going to discuss about trigonometric equation is if sine x is equal to 0. If sine x is equal to 0. Now sine x is 0 on x-axis. On x-axis. Whether you go on this side, sine 0 is 0, sine 2 pi is 0, sine 4 pi is 0, sine 6 pi is 0. Sine pi is 0, sine 3 pi is 0, sine 5 pi is 0, sine 7 pi is 0. So whichever side you go, whether on the positive side, and plus minus of course will be considered, then on the x-axis, sine is 0, sine 0 is 0. You know sine 0 is 0. If you remember the graph of sine theta, it is plus 1, minus 1, because the range is from here. And if you draw a graph, it is like this. It is 0, it is 2 pi. This cycle of the sine is 0 to 2 pi. It starts from 0. Sine 0 is 0, sine pi is 0, sine 2 pi is 0, whichever will, on this x-axis, all the values, these are the roots. These are the roots of the sine. So sine x is 0 means I can write sine n pi. So x is equal to n pi. This is the solution for sine theta. This is the solution for sine, if sine x is equal to 0. If sine x is equal to 0 or sine theta is equal to 0, then we get, this is a general solution for sine x is equal to 0. If sine x is, these are special equation, if sine x is equal to 0, you get x is equal to n pi. I'll write it down here. If sine x is equal to 0 means sine is equal to n pi, or x will be equal to n pi, where n is an integer. Now let us see, we discuss like the x-axis, positive side and negative side. Let's talk of now let's talk of the y-axis, positive y-axis, negative y-axis. Now here the values were 0, here the value will be how much? Pi upon 2, plus minus again. If you are coming from this, it will be plus minus, it will come different. It is plus pi by 2 here, it will be minus pi by 2 here, it will be minus pi by 2 here. So let us see, the values will come as, if you are moving from this side, so how much will be pi by 2? 90. And here it is 3 pi by 2. Here it is 3 pi by 2. If you add again 3 pi by 2, how much will you add? You will add pi. You will add pi, so it will become 5 pi by 2. 9 pi by 2, 11, 9 and 4, 13 pi by 2. So it will be 7 pi by 2, it will be 11 pi by 2, 15 pi by 2. All the values will come here. They will come here. Here also plus minus, and here also plus minus, plus minus, plus minus, plus minus, plus minus, plus minus, plus minus. When we go according to this, we get the values plus minus, depending where are we starting from, how are we starting from. We are going from this side to this side, or we are going from that side to that side. So it depends upon that how are we moving on this. So on this line we get 4n plus 1 pi by 2, where n belongs to set of integers, and on this line we get 4n plus 3 pi by 2, where n belongs to set of integers. 4n plus 1 pi by 2, 4n plus 3 pi by 2. So that means odd multiples of pi by 2, odd multiples of pi by 2. On this line, the positive side or on the negative side, cos theta is always 0. Cos odd multiple of pi by 2 is going to be always 0. So if the second equation is cos theta is equal to 0, and if I generalize this, cos theta is 0, on y-axis, or when theta is an odd multiple of pi by 2. If theta is an odd multiple of pi by 2, either it can be 4n plus 1 pi by 2, or if theta is 4n plus 1 by 2, or 4n plus 3 pi by 2, where n is an integer, or if you generalize it, theta will become 2n plus 1 pi by 2. If you combine both, 2n plus 1 pi by 2, n can be given any value. If n is given 0, it comes pi by 2. If n is given 1, so it will come here 3 pi by 2. If n is given 2, 2 2s are 4 plus 1, 5 pi by 2. If you give n is equal to 4, 4 2s are 8 plus 9 pi by 2, again it will come here. If you give 3, 3 2s are 6, 1, 7 pi by 2, it will come here. So theta is equal to 2n plus 1 pi by 2. So if cos theta is 0, then theta would be, cos theta is 0 when theta is 2n plus 1 pi by 2. n belongs to set of integers. This is the solution set for this. This is we are discussing only in case of, we are specifically discussing the special cases that sin theta is 0, cos theta is 0, and now the third one is tan theta is 0. If tan theta is 0, what will happen? So if cos theta is 0, then it is cos 2n plus 1 pi by 2, or theta is 2n plus 1 pi by 2, where n belongs to set of integer, If tan theta is 0, then tan theta is 0 where sin theta is 0, because tan theta is what? Sin theta upon cos theta. For any fraction to be 0, numerator has to be 0. Denominator cannot be 0. If denominator is 0, then it becomes not defined. So sin is to be 0. That means sin is 0 again when tan theta will be 0 when it is tan is equal to n pi. Tan n pi. Sin will be, tan will be 0 along x-axis, or theta is equal to n pi, where n belongs to set of integers. So if tan theta is 0, if tan theta is 0, then it will become again tan n pi, and theta will be equal to n pi, where n belongs to set of integer. So these are the three important things which we have discussed. Sin theta is equal to 0, cos theta is equal to 0, tan theta is equal to 0. These are the things which we had to discuss.